Martin from the Philippines. We're here in Real Talk Lifeline. So, in this live, people watching the live or the replay, feel free to comment down below. This one is called What to Do When I'm Stuck, Lost, or Don't Know What to Do. So, in this short live, I'm going to be going through 3 points and I'm going to break it down like one, two, three, real quick for you. And then people watching the live or the replay, feel free to comment down below if you have your own personal experience or life advice that you could share. It will help not only me, it might help someone else as well. So let's start this off. What to do when I'm stuck, lost, or I don't know what to do? So, the number one point that I'd like to share here is reflect. So, what does this mean? This is the hardest thing to do, actually, and it's to admit. So, reflection is when I say, I don't know. It's when I say, I'm lost. Or, in my words, it's when I say, I'm fucked up. So, there were points in my life wherein I really reached a point where I just had to admit it that I didn't know. Now, I don't want to go too deep, but there are Greek philosophers, other wise people out there who say the first step is to admit that I know nothing. And that's the first step to knowing, right? So, what is the point of this reflect? It actually allows us to have awareness. And this is super key because it's very hard to start somewhere when you don't know where you are. So, what your situation is, where your starting point, or even where you want to go. So, I'll share some quick practical examples as well of this, right? So, I'll share a very personal one. So, there are points in my life in work wherein, as a life insurance agent, this was way back in November 2014, when you're a rookie, we don't know a lot of the process, whether it's the sales process, how to set an appointment, what spiel to use, how to set a meeting, how to approach, how to actually present, and then how to close, make the sale, do business. So a lot of this is just coming from that place. What are the areas I don't know how to do? This can also be related to health, right? If any of you are going through any health situation, right, or like a personal health scare. So I have gone through some in my life. It can also be related to money, right? It can also be related to relationships. And that one was another deep personal challenge I went through in 2014. So I had to admit first, reflect, what do I not know? After 9 years, the feedback I got was I was a doormat. What does that mean, right? I was a pushover, right? I didn't understand personal boundaries. I didn't understand what I can and can't do. And this is based on the truth, this is based on reality. So the next step here is to write it down. Now, what does this mean? Do I have to write it down on paper literally? I would say yes, it's more helpful. If you're more techie, you can write it down on your phone, right? On your journal, whether it's electronic or like a hard one. And some will say, oh, I'll just do a mental note. Now, if you do a mental note, please do it like burn it into your mind or into your heart. So it has the same power or effect as writing it down. So let's say in my personal experience, when I say write it down, it means not just what you're going through. So let's say back in 2014, I didn't know what mental health, emotional health was, anxiety, depression. So I first had to do step one, which was to reflect or to admit it. Number two, when I write it down, what do I want? Because a lot of people, they don't know what they want. They don't know what their goal, destination, or even just plain desire is. So my personal example was healing. So what does that mean? Every time I went through a challenging situation, a down day, right? I do a seminar, I get it, I meet a person, a opportunity, activity. When I'm about to do something, that was my write it down intention, whether it was a mental note, whether it was deep in my heart, what I wanted, or I literally wrote it down on paper. I even wrote down this 3 to 5 year vision, which I recently reviewed over here. So it's this course I took back in 2020. I was just reviewing this because I'm already going on 4 years actually since I wrote this back in July 2020. So I literally wrote it down on paper. And then the last step over here is to seek answers. So what does this mean? When we seek answers, you can do this in two ways. So the first is to do it by myself. Do it by yourself. Do it do it ourselves, right? Do it our way. So I've found that I've done that admittedly a lot, and the tendency is we don't get far. If we find out the answer on our own, maybe we're a little lucky. Thank you, right? A lot of times, personal experience, and I've witnessed with others, is it takes a lot of time, and there are people who actually never get to figure it out in their lifetime. So, the second way that we can go about seeking answers is to reach out to someone who can help. So, what is this? There are different ways, right? You can meet a mentor, someone who's actually done it, been there, done that, and has gone through it. Another way is like going through a coach. There are different types, personal, professional, different types of coaches out there. You can go up to a specialist, so someone who's actually like a subject matter expert or someone who just focuses very specific on topics. So for example, like uh, um, a dating coach who specializes on males who go through heartbreaks, on long-term relationships, so even more specific. So you can find that right specialist for you. And then the last one here I will share among different approaches you could try is it's a clarity call. So one thing I do over here, you can comment deep dive down below, deep dive. So what I do is if there's someone out there who feels stuck, so over here, let me add this one. If you're curious, if you feel stuck, you feel lost, you feel like you don't know what to do with your current challenge in life right now, just comment deep dive down below. What I do is I'll reach out to you. I'll just listen first, listen to what your situation is, listen to your story, listen to your life. And then if you want to take it to the next level, you want some ideas, you want a different perspective. What can I do? What can I try? Then I can help you take it to the next level to get unstuck and to break through. So that's what I do. So that's the most immediate action you could do. Or the alternative is you could do it by yourself, right? Figure it out. And I've tried that and I haven't gone very far in life. I have seeked out mentors and I've gone this far to actually make this video and share with you the challenges that I've overcome in my life and the life lessons. I share the best lessons with you guys. So, wrapping it up, what to do when I'm stuck, lost, or don't know what to do. Step one, I would say, is to reflect. This is the hardest part. It's to actually admit, right? Some people call this an ego death because we actually have to break down our own ego and admit that, hey, I need help. Number two is write it down. So when we're going through a hard time, it's very hard to think, it's very hard to remember, it's very hard to go through it. So in those moments of just peace, clarity, then I write it down, what I'm going through. I also write down what I want, my intention, right? And then the last step is to seek answers. You can do this on your own, or you can comment deep dive down below. I'll reach out to you, and whatever challenge you feel stuck with in life, I'll listen to you first. And if you want to get unstuck, break through, I'll help you with that. Thank you. I love you. And I will see you next time.